What if I told you that each planet in our solar system would kill you in a completely different, uniquely horrifying way, and some deaths would be over in seconds while others could torture you for hours? Imagine being the first human to set foot on another world, only to realize you have minutes, seconds, or in some cases, milliseconds to live. Each planet in our solar system is essentially a cosmic death trap, engineered by physics to kill humans in the most creative ways imaginable. From Venus, where you'd be crushed, boiled, and dissolved simultaneously, to Jupiter, where you'd be torn apart by gravity before you even reach the surface, to Neptune, where supersonic winds would literally sand the flesh from your bones. These aren't quick, merciful deaths. These are cosmic horror stories written by the laws of physics themselves. Some would kill you instantly. Others would make you wish they had. Today, we're taking a journey to every planet in our solar system, and we're going to die on each one. Let's start with Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, a world where the very concept of landing becomes irrelevant because you'd be dead before you even touch the ground. On Mercury's day side, temperatures reach 800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt zinc. But here's what makes your death uniquely horrifying. You wouldn't die from the heat first. The moment you step outside your spacecraft, Mercury's virtually non-existent atmosphere would cause your saliva to boil on your tongue. Your blood wouldn't boil immediately. That's a myth, but the moisture in your mouth and eyes would vaporize instantly. You'd have about 15 seconds of consciousness before hypoxia kicks in. But those 15 seconds would feel like an eternity as you experience something no human ever has. Your spit literally bubbling and steaming as it evaporates. Then comes the heat. Your spacesuit would protect you briefly, but Mercury's surface radiates infrared radiation so intense it would overwhelm any cooling system. You'd essentially be standing on a planetary-sized frying pan within 60 seconds. You'd lose consciousness from heat stroke. Within 5 minutes, your body temperature would rise to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Fatal hyperthermia. Your proteins would begin to denature, your brain would shut down, and you die while being slowly cooked from the outside in. But Mercury's heat is nothing compared to our next destination. Venus is often called Earth's twin, but it's more like Earth's psychotic evil twin that wants to kill you in 3 different ways simultaneously the moment you enter Venus's atmosphere. You'd face atmospheric pressure 92 times greater than Earth's, equivalent to being 3,000 feet underwater. That's enough pressure to crush a nuclear submarine. But you wouldn't be crushed immediately. Instead, you'd slowly descend through clouds made of concentrated sulfuric acid that would eat through your spacecraft, like acid eating through paper. As you fall deeper, something horrifying happens. The temperature rises to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than Mercury, even though Venus is farther from the Sun. It's hot enough to melt lead, zinc, and tin. Here's your death timeline. First, the acid clouds would corrode your spacecraft. Then, as pressure builds, your ribs would crack like twigs. Your lungs would collapse, but you wouldn't die from that yet. The heat would reach you next. At 900 degrees Fahrenheit, your blood would begin to boil inside your veins. Your skin would blister and char like meat on a grill. But the pressure would prevent your blood from actually boiling over. Instead, it would superheat while trapped inside you. Finally, you'd be crushed by pressure that could turn coal into diamonds. Your body would be simultaneously burned, dissolved, and compressed into something unrecognizable. Dying on Venus takes about 60 seconds from entry to death. But what about dying on the planet we call home? Earth might seem safe, but our home planet has plenty of ways to kill you that would make alien worlds jealous. In Death Valley, ground temperatures can reach 200 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause third-degree burns through shoe soles. But that's nothing compared to what lies beneath our feet. Step into a volcanic vent, and you'd experience temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You wouldn't burn to death. You'd literally vaporize. Your body would turn from solid to gas so quickly that there wouldn't even be ashes left behind. But Earth's most creative killer might be its deepest ocean trenches. In the Mariana Trench, water pressure reaches 1,086 times normal atmospheric pressure. A human body would be compressed to the size of a marble in microseconds. Or consider the opposite extreme, Mount Everest's death zone above 26,000 feet. Here, there's so little oxygen that your brain literally begins dying within minutes. Climbers report euphoria, hallucinations, and the strange sensation of feeling warm while freezing to death. Your blood would become so thick from dehydration and altitude that your heart would struggle to pump it. You die from a combination of cerebral edema, pulmonary edema, and hypothermia, essentially drowning in your own fluids while your brain swells. Earth proves that you don't need to travel to alien worlds to find creative ways to die. But speaking of alien worlds, Mars is humanity's dream destination for colonization. It's also a planet that would kill you slowly enough that you'd have time to regret ever leaving Earth. Mars's atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide with almost no oxygen. But unlike the instant death of other planets, Mars would give you a few minutes to contemplate your mortality. First, you'd notice the cold. With an average temperature of minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, your exposed skin would begin to freeze within 30 seconds. But Mars's low atmosphere pressure, less than 1% of Earth's, means your saliva would boil, just like on Mercury. Here's where Mars gets psychologically terrifying. You'd remain conscious long enough to feel both burning and freezing sensations simultaneously. Your mouth would bubble with boiling saliva while your skin develops frostbite. The low pressure would cause your skin to swell as dissolved gases in your blood begin to form bubbles, a condition called ebulism. You'd look like you're inflating like a balloon, but you wouldn't pop. After 2 to 3 minutes, hypoxia would set in. You'd become confused, euphoric, then unconscious. But you wouldn't die immediately. Your body could survive for 10 to 15 minutes as your organs slowly shut down from lack of oxygen. Mars would give you the cruelest gift of all, time to think about your situation while being powerless to change it. The gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, present a unique form of cosmic horror. There's no surface to land on. You just fall forever. Let's start with Jupiter, the king of planets and the king of horrible deaths. As you fall through Jupiter's atmosphere, you'd first notice the beautiful bands of colored clouds rushing past you. But beauty quickly turns to terror. Jupiter's gravity is 2.36 times stronger than Earth's, so you'd accelerate faster and faster. At first, this would just feel like being in a high-speed elevator. Then comes the pressure. As you fall deeper, Jupiter's atmosphere becomes denser and denser. At 10 times Earth's atmosphere pressure, your ribs would crack. At 50 times, your lungs would collapse completely. But here's Jupiter's most horrifying feature. You'd never stop falling. Jupiter's core might be solid, but it's buried under 40,000 miles of increasingly dense hydrogen. You'd be crushed to death while still falling through what's essentially an infinite ocean of gas. Saturn would kill you the same way, but with one extra twist. Its hexagonal storm of the North Pole creates wind speeds of 200 miles per hour that would tumble you like a rag doll as you're being crushed. Uranus and Neptune add another layer of horror. Supersonic winds reaching 1,200 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. You'd literally be sandblasted by atmospheric particles while being crushed and frozen simultaneously. On these worlds, death isn't an event. It's a process that could take hours as you slowly fall through layers of increasingly hostile atmosphere. Finally, we reach the edge of our solar system, where death becomes an almost peaceful affair compared to the violence of the inner planets. On Pluto, temperatures drop to minus 375 degrees Fahrenheit, so cold that nitrogen, which makes up 78% of Earth's atmosphere, falls as snow. This isn't just cold. This is close to absolute zero, where molecular motion nearly stops. Your death on Pluto would be almost elegant in its simplicity. Within seconds, your breath would freeze solid and fall like crystals. Your saliva wouldn't boil. It would instantly freeze into ice cubes in your mouth. The extreme cold would cause your blood vessels to constrict so rapidly that you'd lose consciousness within 15 seconds. But unlike other planets, you wouldn't experience pain. Extreme cold actually numbs nerve endings. Your body would freeze so quickly that you'd be perfectly preserved. Future explorers might find you exactly as you died, like a cosmic ice sculpture in Pluto's methane snow. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of dying on Pluto isn't the cold, it's the isolation. You'd be dying on a world where the sun appears as just another star, 1,000 times dimmer than on Earth. You'd die in almost complete darkness, farther from home than any human has ever been. It would take over 5 hours for the news of your death to reach Earth, traveling at the speed of light. So there you have it, 8 different worlds, 8 uniquely horrible ways to die. From Mercury's split-second incineration to Venus's triple threat of crushing, burning, and dissolving, to Mars's psychologically torturous slow death, to Jupiter's infinite fall into crushing darkness. Each planet in our solar system is essentially a cosmic murder weapon, engineered by physics to kill humans in the most creative ways imaginable. But here's the most chilling realization. These aren't just theoretical deaths. Every time we send astronauts into space, we're putting human beings just one equipment failure away from experiencing these cosmic horror stories firsthand. The astronauts on the International Space Station are traveling at 17,500 miles per hour, protected from the vacuum of space by technology thinner than a smartphone screen. One breach, one system failure, one miscalculation, and they could experience the same fate we've described. Mars missions are being planned for the 2030s. Those astronauts will be 140 million miles from Earth, completely dependent on technology to keep them alive on a world that wants to kill them. The universe is vast and beautiful, but it's also completely indifferent to human life. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid is a reminder that we evolved for one very specific world, and everywhere else in the cosmos would kill us without hesitation. So the next time you step outside and feel the warmth of the sun and breathe fresh air, remember that you're experiencing the rarest thing in the universe, a place where humans can actually survive.